It never ends. It never does. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh 5 here on the Megalopolis app. And you may notice something different here. Usually, I'm here with my toy hunting compadre, my action figure talking amigo, my con traveling buddy, Veebs. But with the world in the state it is right now, I thought it better not to make the drive 4 hours up to his house. He's got little ones, and I'll be stopping at gas stations, and it's just, I figured it would be better just to sit here alone, dim the lights a little bit, create a mood, just me and you talking about, 5 things that we'd like to see in action figure form. And today's topic stems all from me opening the new Hasbro Classified Series Deluxe Snake Eyes yesterday. Probably can't see this because I don't have all the lights on, but can you see this? Hasbro knocked this thing out of the park. It's amazing, both in action figure form and it's a good damn Snake Eyes. And getting this, even though I didn't collect a lot back in the day, back in the 80s when I was a kid, it was other franchises I was into, but I watched the hell out of the GIJoe cartoon, and Snake Eyes has me excited about the other figures in this line and the potential for other characters down the line. We've seen Duke, we've seen Roadblock, we've seen Scarlet, we've seen Snake Eyes, we've heard rumors. I compiled a list of 5 GIJoe characters I'd like to see, and I kind of strayed away from the ones that we're getting. I mean, the mainstays, especially the ones they featured on the poster. Well, now that I'm looking at it, there's not a Superman. There's Cobra Commander, some Red Ninja. But they're eventually going to get to, like, Stalker, which I really, really want. I want Flint, Firefly, and Beachhead. I mean, those seem obvious in the line. And as much as I want them, I'm going to go for a little obscurity. Although when we get to 1 and 2... we'll circle back around. And I haven't actually numbered these yet. I just picked 5, and this is tough. I think at number 5, I'm going to go with the Toxo Viper. I don't know what it is about this character. It's just a crazy mix of greens and purples and red and yellow. I mean, it's the established villain colors we've been getting in comics forever. Now, of course, my preference would be the original design with the big honking helmet. Looks like he's about to go into some shit. But I also don't mind the redesign later. Was it the 90s where he looked a little bit more Marvel-esque? I say that because he kind of reminds me of Beetle. But after seeing their current redesigns of the characters where they're kind of armored and they add some colors into it, I think they could knock this one out of the park while still giving us a good homage to that original character. Plus, it's just fun. I know we're going to get Cobra Commander, Destro. We need some minions. We need some specialized groups, and I think that's one of the things that drew me to this character too, or the different Vipers, or GIJoe in general, really. There's always a specialist, and as a kid, that really appealed to me because I didn't know what I wanted. Hell, I'm 45 and still don't know what I want to do with my life. But at that point, I was like, I can do anything. I could be like him or her or him or him. So at number 5, Toxo Viper. Good trooper. Oh, well, that's another reason too. I love my troopers. Give me some army builders. Something I could buy multiples of and not feel guilty about, At number 4, I can't remember if he was a specific character or he is a group of ninjas, but I have to go with Night Creeper. Again, as a kid, I think it was the design. There were armor plates, but there were ninja aspects, but the purple, for some reason, looked really good with the silver. He had a damn crossbow that shot how many? 5 arrows? Multiple arrows, let's just say that. To me, that was like, oh man, I've seen crossbows, and I've seen them with 1 arrow. I've never seen them one like this. This is amazing. Plus you had the sword, you had the goggles, and it was kind of the anti-Snake Eyes, a little bit. Again, thinking as a child, I was like, oh, he's a perfect companion, or, the opposite besides Storm Shadow, of course. When Snake Eyes beat Storm Shadow, here comes Night Creeper. Now, like I've mentioned a couple times, I had very few GIJoe as a kid, and then the other iterations later, I never got into it. I got into 6-inch scale, and I'd look at GIJoes and think, oh, those are neat, but I had to stick with my scale. But back in the 80s, Night Creeper was one of my main figures. I don't know how I ended up with them. And looking on Google, there is an updated look, kind of more sleek, almost more Snake Eyes looking, and I'd go with that too. But again, with the modern redesigns they're doing, I almost feel they'll stray closer to the original look. It's a little bit more wacky, crazy, armored up looking. If they even get to Night Creeper, let's be realistic about that. So number 4, Night Creeper, just because nostalgia. Number 3, though, is another nostalgia pick, but not me. I'm speaking for Veebs here, and he still has to tell this story about Chuckles. There are reasons that Chuckles is his favorite GIJoe character and the most nostalgic character for him, but again, I'll let him tell that. For me, it's a crazy bastard in a Hawaiian shirt out there fighting a war. Now, GIJoe had a lot of wacky designs, but again, with this, looking through Child's eyes, I was like, that's just a regular guy out there doing it. For some reason, I ended up with some GIJoe comics that had Chuckles as the main character, and I think Jinx. It's been a while since I've read them, but I remember Chuckles being a complete badass in those issues. So that right there puts him up my want list considerably. Plus, again, I know I keep coming back to this because it's a sticking point for some people in the new Classified Series line with the redesigns and the armors and stuff. It'd be interesting to see how they slide Chuckles in there. Would they keep the, just the Hawaiian shirt and put armor plates down on his shins or something? Give him some gauntlets? So it's not only because Chuckles is a badass that he's at number 3, but I'm also interested in seeing what they'll actually do with him, again, if they do get to Chuckles. And number 2, this is where we stray back into the main character roster, and I hate to do it, but I can't help it. I wants what I wants. And number 2 would be Lady Jaye. I liked Scarlet, I liked CoverGirl, but there was something about Lady Jaye, it appealed to me again back in the day. She was a better counterpart to Duke or Flint or the uniformed guys, the ranked guys. She would be the one barking out orders. Again, it's been a while since I've seen GIJoe. I need to go back and watch that series. But now, 40 years later, holy moly. 40 years later, I look at these characters and I kind of give them my own backstory. And when it comes to Lady Jaye, she seems like the kind that would be right there on the front line, but she's also telling everyone else what to do. Plus, again, coming back around to the 2020 redesigns, she already had a crazy looking spear shooting thing that would fit right in with the new line because of their kind of out their weaponry. Plus, on top of all that, if anybody remembers Double Dealer Customs back in the day, he made some kick-ass 6-inch Joes before 6-inch Joes were even a thought in anybody's head, and he completely nailed Lady Jaye. And seeing that custom figure back then, and then looking at it now too, I gotta have an action figure of her. So number 2, Lady Jaye. And then coming in at number 1, I almost hate myself for doing this. He seems a lot to be made, but I have to go with Zartan. After Snake Eyes, he's probably my favorite Joe, only because, there's something to being Master of Disguise and having an action figure that changes colors, and he has little mask parts that go over. But there's also his actual clothing that he wears as a serious adult in a terrorist organization. Dude wore a half shirt, sleeveless, with armor plates everywhere, and then for some reason a hood over that. Add in some face paint, and you have a guy that if you run into him on the street, you don't want to mess with him, much less when he's holding a weapon or transforming before your eyes. It's insane. As much shit as we want to give these new designs, looking back at some of those older ones, they were kind of off the wall too. Later designs had the half shirt gone. He wore a shirt under his armor. But there's something sentimental about seeing Zartan's belly, seeing his arms, but then him trying to cover his head. I don't know. It's just out of nowhere. I love it. What can I say? I do love it. Don't get me wrong, I love Firefly. I love Beachhead. I love all the main roster, really, on both sides. But with Zartan, well, he could be a deluxe release too, come with his swamp sled or whatever it was called. Give him a vehicle, because at 6-inch scale, I'm not confident they're going to give us a lot of vehicles, but give us a trouble bubble, give us the smaller things, give us the jetpacks from the movie, and then Zartan could have his sled thing. So as confident as I am that we're going to get him, I can't wait till we actually get him. He's my most wanted. What can I say? Number 1, Zartan. So there you go, Fwoosh 5, counting down the most wanted GIJoe Classified Series figures that I'd personally want to see, plus knowing the one Veebs wanted to see, I threw in there too. Even though I will buy Chuckles. Hell, a 1/12 scale dude in a regular shirt with the articulation of Snake Eyes. Hopefully soon everything gets back to schedule. There's a bunch of craziness going on right now. And as much as I would love to be up at Veeb's house, looking at his toys, talking, doing this show proper, we got to do what we got to do right now. So if you enjoyed the Fwoosh 5, let me know somehow. And, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh and Megalopolis.